This week on Capitol Report, what went wrong for the Democrats in 2024 election? Senator Murphy offers a social media gut check.
This is a moment for a fundamental rebuild of the left.
I can't seem to get over to the left, honey. I'll try next time. Sorry.
Plus, Governor Lamont unplugs from his push for an electric vehicle mandate.
Just kidding.
Also, the long wait is over after election result delays in a hotly contested state house race.
I believe in the process. The process is being done the right way.
This is a process. It's a process. It's a process.
Plus, the governor's unbridled enthusiasm for a new Connecticut bridge.
I love the historic nature of this as well, the lamps and the such.
Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it?
I love lamps.
And we dig into Connecticut's launch of the nation's first Christmas movie trail.
Cue the deer.
Roger.
Lights, camera, action. Capitol Report starts now. Welcome to Capitol Report. I am Tom Dutchick. We are so glad you're spending part of this Sunday morning alongside the power panel of the great mayor of Bloomfield, Connecticut, Daniel Wong. Good morning. Joe Arcima is coach first, former Speaker of the House second.
Yes, I think that's true.
There you go. Liz Corona is a political operative, huh?
Morning.
And Johnny Mack's back with us, Yale graduate, huh?
That's what they say on the diploma.
There you go. All right, guys. Hey, so nearly 2 weeks after Donald Trump won back the White House and Republicans scored big congressional wins, Democrats are still asking themselves, hey, what the heck went wrong? Governor Lamont called the election a wake-up call for his party. In the past week, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy posted a video on social media to lament about his party's shortcoming. The election was a gut check for Democrats. And the Murph isn't afraid to say that's what has been the status quo for his party is no longer how the majority of Americans feel about the directions the country's going. Watch the Murph here.
People are looking for control, and one of the ways that Republicans deliver them a message of control is control of our borders. Democrats need to understand that Republicans start by examining the way that people are actually feeling and then matching policies to the way that they're feeling. Democrats need to start doing the same thing. We cannot win if we don't build a bigger tent. And in order to build a bigger tent, we likely have to have economic populism as that tent pole and then allow into the tent people that do not agree with us on 100% of our core social, cultural issues, as well as other hot button topics like guns and climate.
Well, Danielle, you've probably been to a bunch of Democratic hand-wringing parties over the last couple of weeks. So is he right, wrong, or where do we go?
No, I think the senator is very right. He's hit it on the nose very well. The Democratic Party is super divided. We have different subgroups. We have different issues. We, embrace identity politics, which isn't really effective. And he said something else in some of his comments that weren't quite aired, but the Democrats also put forward uninspiring solutions. And for me, that hit home really well. We don't do well on messaging. We don't do that. And I think that we have so much of, we have talent, we have a huge bench, but we have to bring together and have those hard conversations, and we don't do a good job of doing that. So he is correct. We need to widen the tent, we need to have uncomfortable conversations, and we need to work more towards compromise.
Yeah, well, I mean, the messenger matters too. Barack Obama was one of the best messengers we've ever seen. So was Bill Clinton. Look, I know President Trump hasn't even been sworn in yet, but it sounds crazy. I think what you hear from Chris Murphy, we're going to see Senator Murphy give a speech in New Hampshire sometime in 2025 to see if he can be a voice nationally for the Democratic Party. He's going to have some problems, though. He talks about being aggressive economic populists. There's a fine line between that and the Bernie Sanders socialism. And there's a fine line between that and Senator Murphy's own record. Senator Murphy wants to put the SALT tax deduction back. 96% of that goes to the top quintile, 57% to the top 1%, 4% goes to the middle class. That was a tax increase on wealthy people. He was against it because of that.
Well, one of the things we've talked about, Danielle, and we've had some back and forth on this is exactly what I've been
trying to say. When we're looking at where are we going, when we're shouting down at voters and we're calling them names and we are belittling people and we're telling them, oh, the statistics say Bidenomics is working, what the voters have told everyone is, no, it's not. It's not working for me. And I think it'll be really important for Democrats in Washington to come to the table and work with President Trump and work across the aisle with Republican senators and Republican members of Congress in order to deliver. And that shows not just we're working on lip service, we're actually going to do
Wrap it up, Joe.
Yeah, I agree with 90% what he said. I'd be careful with the populism argument when it comes to the economy. I think we can tackle issues, and that's what we should be doing more. And if we're going to fight with the Trump administration, let it be over issues. He is the president now. Let's find our gaps and go through them.
Okay, so here's a question for you. If you were surprised or not surprised when Donald Trump tabbed Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, Gaetz is a Trump and MAGA loyalist. He also faced allegations of sexual misconduct that led to a House Ethics Committee investigation. Some question whether he'll have enough support from his own side of the aisle if there's a confirmation hearing. Here's what the Murph had to say about that one. Watch this.
This feels like a red alert moment for democracy. There are a million other conservatives who could be attorney general. Senate Republicans don't need to put the country on the precipice of disaster by turning the Department of Justice over to somebody who's currently under ethics investigation and has signaled that he just wants the DOJ to be an arm of the White House.
That was the Murph's The Sky is Falling press conference there. You know, RFK Jr. as the head of HHS, a lot to chew on, guys.
Yeah, look, and besides Liz and John, I have other Republican friends, and we've been having a lot of conversations over the last week, and I said the cabinet picks will be interesting. Let's see where he goes. Let's give him an opportunity. He does have the right as a president to nominate. I think when it came to Matt Gaetz, that was all of us, even my Republican friends were like, what is he thinking? And then when it came to Kennedy, also, what is he thinking? What's going to be interesting is the confirmation process. How much does President Trump put his thumb on the scale and mandate that his people get through, or is it going to be a true vetting process? I would say the red alert for our democracy is a little premature, but if the Senate just rubber stamps every single one of them, despite what they know from their own experience, I would become more concerned then, and I think my Republican friends would too.
Well, I'll tell you that I will be shocked if Matt Gaetz actually submits himself to going through the process. He does not want to sit there and go through all of the questions and answer period that go with being confirmed. I think John Cornyn, who's the senator, already said they want to see that ethics report. So the way the process works is working already. Good. I will be shocked to see an actual vote on Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, I'm totally getting PTSD from all of the picks. I had to turn off the news this week. It's just, I can't do it.
News blackout.
I just can't do it. But, you know, largely we've elected as a country a very unserious candidate. And so I am not surprised that he is picking very unserious cabinet members or cabinet nominees to go through this process. And I really hope that we can hold the line and do something to have a decent leadership and a beacon.
The blue firewall,
yeah,
McKinney,
you know,
huh?
look, I mean, Marco Rubio is an incredibly good choice for Secretary of State. Tulsi Gabbard was, up until about 2 weeks ago, a Democrat who once ran for president as a Democrat who's very good. You know, Pete Hegseth is not traditional pick, but the guy's service to the country, understanding of our military is unparalleled. So, look, Joe, you and I have both been in positions where we've had to confirm picks by governors. And my position always was, the governor, whether it was Dan Malloy or Jody Rell, they get to put their stamp on their people. I never voted against someone because I didn't agree with their policy. It's just whether they're qualified.
Exactly.
McKinney shedding that rhino label. I was saying, hey, Lamont's push for an electric vehicle mandate is now in the back of the garage, tucked underneath the Halloween decorations and behind the old weed whacker. Lamont told reporters last week it's off the table for his administration. Baby, federal standards to make all new car purchases EVs by 2035, yeah, right, appear to be dead in the water. Republican leaders call it a victory for a Connecticut taxpayer. Guys, you think it's going away for good like Joy Arsumowitz's tolls that they basically was sunset.
Well, I hope it's an electric weed whacker that it's under. But I mean, this is going the exact way I told. Once again, the governor has put a priority on the table, and he's having to take it back. And it is in the same vein, right? Transportation. The governor has no holistic policy when it comes to our our electric grid, into our energy policies, and that shows. And in states like Massachusetts, where they're making $5 billion in investments in order to make this happen, I think this is a breakdown of Pura, this is a breakdown from Katie Dykes, and a breakdown from the governor.
And Joe, I saw a press release from your former friends, or they're still your friends, the Democrats in the Senate, basically taunting the Republicans for basically parading around this, saying, oh, well, if we wanted to pass it, believe me, we would have passed it. And I thought that was a little bit silly.
Well, I said the same thing with tolls, so I'm not going to throw the silly label out there. I said I had the votes all along, which I knew it was going to be difficult. But this particular issue is ever evolving, right? We hear the Trump administration is working closely with Elon Musk. The credits that are out there for EVs may be changing. Tariffs may go into place. I think it has to be not just the federal urging. It has to be a federal issue that money is behind. And you're right about our issues around electricity now. But I will tell you, the governor's office, the legislators I've been talking to, they're going to go up to Massachusetts. They want to figure out how Massachusetts did it. They're there. They're there. We all understand the issue. We have to have affordable rates for our ratepayers.
Yeah, I am deeply disappointed that this is off the table. It wasn't perfect, and I thought that we were going to pull it back and then kind of get key stakeholders and figure out how to get it done, you know, in a timely manner. And so that's unfortunate. And you talk about the federal level. Now here's what's happening on the local level. We are, as municipalities and towns, fighting off these battery farm storage facilities that the governor's siting council can come in without local buy-in. They can do that. And so there's going to be these deep-rooted, you know, wars with these battery facilities that are coming into these suburbs, you know, trying to make sure that they put their shake on the infrastructure build out so we can prepare for EVs in the future. The market isn't going anywhere. We're seeing the Fords of the world and different car manufacturers ramp up their EVs. So, you know, it's time will tell.
Well, and you've seen Toyota and other large manufacturers says it's not EVs, it's hybrids. The market is moving more towards hybrids, which quite frankly don't do much as the electrical vehicles do. But there's a long way to go in this fight.
Range anxiety on the Capitol Report panel. Up next on Capitol Report, new election results more than 1 week after the fact. We'll find out what's happening in two of the most competitive state races with our pal, Mike Cerulli, the kid. When we come back, don't go away.
When you say the kid, he should...
Well, if you thought Election Day was over, think again. Last Tuesday, we saw a recount in key state house races. Another recount, on the horizon. So joining us to break it all down is Newsday's political contributor, Mike Cerulli. So, Mike, spending a lot of time in Torrington at the Venetian there in Litchfield County these days. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, I guess that's true. You know, New Fairfield last month, Watertown with Joe Pletta and George Logan on Election Day. Torrington last week. You know, Torrington, beautiful little city. Also a political battleground. I was up there last Tuesday for a partial recount in the race between incumbent Democrat Michelle Cook and Republican Joe Canino. This was not an automatic recount, meaning it wasn't triggered by a close margin and didn't include all the ballots cast in the race. It was triggered because of so-called discrepancies in the race. It only included votes cast by early absentee and same-day registration ballots. And based on what we saw from the recount, it appears Mr. Canino is ahead by more than 50 votes. And Michelle Cook has called him to congratulate him on that apparent victory, Tom.
Mike, what the heck are discrepancies?
Yeah, so the local elections officials in Torrington, they'll be the first to tell you that there were a lot of problems here. They actually used much more colorful language to describe what happened. And as far as this recount is concerned, basically what they're saying is the numbers didn't add up the first time they counted those votes, those early and absentee and same-day registration ballots. The number they knew they received and the number they originally counted were not the same numbers. And so lo and behold, they actually discovered dozens and dozens of ballots that had not been originally counted, so those ballots were included in the recount.
Mike, unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, obviously not ideal, raises a lot of questions, and I asked the registrars and the head ballot moderator repeatedly, throughout the day, how did this happen? How were these missed the first time around? And while they didn't really give me a clear answer, what they did say was that the sheer volume of early votes just overwhelmed them and errors were made. So I expect this to remain a focus as we sort of collectively conduct an after-action report on the first year of early voting.
Mike, and the recount just didn't affect Cook and Canino, right?
Yeah, that's right. The recount also gave us a fuller picture of the results in the race between incumbent Republican State Senator Lisa Seminara and Democrat Paul Honig. Their race appears to now be within the margin for a mandatory recount. We're expecting a look at all of those votes again now. And this is going to keep in focus those discrepancies in Torrington. Senator Seminara, when she withdrew her concession, she called the whole Torrington process eye-opening. So we'll see what happens there. This is a big district, 11 towns, so it should be interesting.
Mike, so really you have a different definition of interesting than the rest of us, though. It seems you've been going on a pizza and beer tour of Greater Litchfield County these days. But you're too young to remember Ski's Diner, though. That was the big place in Torrington.
Yeah, no, Sasso's has kind of been the place in Torrington. I would note it was the pizza of choice for the lawyers from both Senate and House Republicans and Democrats. I think that says something, although the Democrats, they didn't put any meat on their pizzas.
No, not good. Not good. Gotta have pepperoni. A big high score from Portnoy, too, on that one. I think 8 point something, right?
8.1, I think.
There you go. Thanks for being here, Mike.
One bite.
Great.
One bite. Hey, politicians and social media on Cap Report, huh? A Connecticut mayor had some busy fingers last week. We'll discuss when we get back. Don't go away. The kid skis down. Even the skis. The old. Hard-hitting New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart has yet to officially announce she plans to run for governor in 2028, but that hasn't stopped the Republican from taking some swipes at her former pal, Governor Lamont, and New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker on social media. Following the election, Stewart went on X to comment on Governor Lamont, who mentioned being an Ivy Leaguer from Greenwich during a recent interview, prompted a reply from Stewart, who said, "Hey, I'm a state college grad and the mayor of New Britain and proud to be a working class. We are not the same." And so after that, she also took a swipe at New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker after he appeared on This Week in Connecticut with our friend Dennis House last week and talked about his concerns about how a Trump administration may impact New Haven's sanctuary city status. All those.
They tried to do something similar in the past with the first Trump administration by trying to cut off funding. And at the time, there was a real legal response because it wasn't just places like New Haven, but there's a lot of cities around the nation that responded. And we'll be fighting back on that to make sure that we defend our values, but also protect people that are part of our community.
Sanctuary city status. They're still making fun of me here on set. Stewart responding with, "Hey, this guy and the word fight don't belong in the same sentence. Let's begin the war. Let's the social wars begin, guys." So what do you think? Not to read the prompter right.
Hard-hitting New Britain.
Hard-hitting New Britain. What do you think? What do you think of it?
I mean, I don't know where the shot against Mayor Elicker came, but there's a legitimate issue we need to talk about unrelated to Erin Stewart. We've got a Venezuelan gang who's murdering people in Stamford. We've got a Mexican gang founder who's selling fentanyl and cocaine and running illegal gambling operations in Norwalk. Is Justin Elicker going to prevent the Trump administration from deporting those people? I hope if he tries to, boy, Democrats are going to lose more races.
Who would ever deport 5 million immigrants?
Barack Obama. Barack Obama deported 4.5 million people.
Everyone looking at me.
Wow. That went over like a pregnant pole vault.
Well, back to the messaging and the kind of the hits that Mayor Stewart did to Mayor Elicker. You know, it doesn't feel right. I think it seems like she's setting herself up to be that, to take on some of the pressure tests, some of the MAGA kind of approaches, to be that Republican to take hits on Democratic leaders. She's being a little Trumpy. She's being a little, and I don't think she has to because she's well liked. So I don't know if she's kind of testing the water, seeing how that runs out. But what we did see out of the election is it sounds like a big part of New Haven, I believe the right side of New Haven, is shifting over a little right. And so I think she's kind of playing those cards to see if she is going to be, if people like that. I don't think people are going to like that in Connecticut, and I don't think she has to do that to succeed.
I've known Erin a very long time. And I can be the first one to say, this is not a play. This is who Erin is, right? Erin is talking about issues and talking about them in a way that she always has. So this is not inauthentic in any possible way. She's not mirroring someone else. This is who she is. And I think a credit to her to be talking about issues that are clearly reflected in the results of the last election. She's talking about immigration that is clearly impacted. She's dealing with this in her city, right? And she's talking about being a working class American.
Yeah, and Liz, and I think that what we don't want to miss is the approach that she's taking. It seems like she's taking an attack on Mayor Elliker's physical appearance. And again, she doesn't have to do that to get the message across. And I don't think we want more of that. It's giving Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we don't want that in Connecticut.
Well, here's what I can say as someone who has sparred quite frequently with elected officials on Twitter. It is not necessarily the place to be, and for elected officials and candidates, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. Ask Johanna Hayes.
All right, guys. All right, just keep Dad away from the keyboard, though, Aaron, though. Hey, next up on Cap Report, Connecticut has a wine trail, a beer trail, and now a Christmas movie trail. What will they think of next? We'll discuss when we get back. Do not go away.
Buncher gets it deep. Buncher gets it deep.
Hey, come to Connecticut. Well, we may not have a pro sports team, but we do have the nation's only Christmas movie trail. How about that? The marketing and tourism folks, Anthony, you guys over there, established a trail to celebrate the state as a popular location for shooting Christmas movie with like potatoes as snow, and encouraging people to visit specific shops, restaurants, inns, and other unique attractions. Guys, beer, wine, Christmas movies, what kind of trail would you like to see next, guys?
Listen.
Oh, what kind of trail?
What kind of trail?
A high school football
High school
trail.
football trail.
Of course.
Well, first of all, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Governor Rell for her investment in the tax credits. Otherwise, we would not be in this.
Okay.
Can we throw Jimmy in there?
How about trails? How about a pizza trail?
Pizza trail, 100%.
We don't have a pizza trail.
I can't believe they haven't done a weed trail yet.
Who says we haven't, John? Who says we haven't?
A pizza trail for sure, because you can get all the way through the shoreline up to, you can get into Waterbury,
Super duper weenie. Super duper
Hot
weenie.
dog trail.
Hot dog trail.
The Chris Murphy hot dog trail.
Martin and
Hot dog trail.
Russell's,
It
you
all
get up to New
sounds like
Britain.
it starts at a dispensary, fellas. I
Right,
mean, it
there you
really
go.
I vote for that.
A munchie trail, huh?
A munchie trail.
Oh, the pizza works there.
Pizza trail,
Maybe
huh?
some donuts. We can go to
Oh,
Brooklyn
Neil's?
Bakery.
A
Neil's.
donut trail?
I love it. Donut Crazy,
Right.
also a Connecticut company.
Good, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for Cap Report this week. For the mayor, the coach, Lizzie, Johnny Mac, I'm Tom Dutchick. I'll see you next week.
All right, John, let's go.
Come on.
Oh, no.
You gotta hang it up.
I'm waiting for the shot clock to run.
Okay.
Also, we have the Connecticut